Hello, hello there. It's Grumbo coming to you live. We are back with our Whirlwind Barbarian playthrough. Last time we left off, we had killed the Countess for the first time, collected a bunch of gold, going to go through the loot, and we are going to farm the Countess a few times to get some runes. Then after that, might continue on with the quests, depending on how long farming takes. We have a little bit of a goal, several runes that I need to pick up for some items I want to use once I get the bases for them. We'll go over each one as we get the runes for them. Right now we do have 2 towels, so we need 2 more. And we have an L rune, so we need 1 more of those. I'm sorry, 3 more towels. All right, so let's go through the items we got, sell off what we don't need, and then we can get to Countess farming.
The order welcomes you.
Second chance to cast amplify damage is pretty good. It is, once again, the curse that if it's applied to an enemy, makes them take 100% more physical damage. However, I don't have polearm as my mastery. I'm using axes. This might be worth keeping for a mercenary in Act 2. I'll go over that when we get there. I think I will hang on to it for now, but we might end up selling it because the damage is not amazing. Notably, though, this is a fun little example of something people look for. It's ethereal, cannot be repaired, which means it gets extra damage as well, but it has repairs 1 durability in 33 seconds. That's a sought-after modifier for ethereal weapons for obvious reasons. It's the only way to repair ethereal items. Shield's nothing crazy, and some of the runes I'm farming are for a better shield for when we do get a one-handed axe. That's sellable. Not awful for a shield for an early paladin, but we can't use it. Same with this one. Nice little skill stick for a sorceress, but nothing special. Don't need those. These boots. They do have the all-important fire resistance, which is more valuable than either cold or poison resistance. Well, I think I'll pop those on. Sell these off. Wow, that is a really, really cool Warlock shield for early on. Or, I guess, book, but it takes up a shield slot. +3 to Ring of Fire. If you're a fire Warlock, that's the first skill you're going to use to deal damage. Plus, you get a free point in Goatman and Deathmark. Goatman is a summon that you can use to protect yourself, help defer the aggro of some monsters. Plus, Deathmark allows you to teleport that Goatman on top of enemies. Having a shield like this means you wouldn't have to invest any points in those skills. So this is really good. I'm going to hang on to this as well. We may run a Warlock at some point. In fact, we probably will. Right. Little axe. I will see if this is good enough to replace my two-handed axe so we can start using some shields. Okay. Magic damage reduced by 1 is probably better than just 1 dexterity. 1 mana after each kill can be very useful when you're using skills to kill enemies. This kind of helps you replenish that mana. Stack up some of this and your mana issues go away for a long time. I think I'll hang on to this for now. Actually, I think it's better than 1 max damage, so I'll go ahead and replace that. Okay. What do we have here? Dexterity, don't need that. Okay. This jewel is not crazy, but not terrible. In any case, jewels are used in later game crafting, so I always hang on to them no matter what they are. I'll go over that when and if we craft. I'm sure we probably will. A couple stacks of keys is not a bad idea. Throw that away. Throw that away. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we have. All right. Okay, so our damage right now is 16 to 28. If we throw this one-handed axe on, it actually does more damage than this does, so that's pretty nice. It's about the same attack speed, but it's one-handed notably, so we can throw one of our shields on. If you remember, we actually got a whole bunch. Oh, I almost forgot to sell this off. Of shields. We got 2 of the same set shield and another different set shield in our last session. Okay. So I can sell this off. I'll look for 3 sock. Hey, there we go. All right, I'm going to buy this for a future upgrade. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. We can dual wield, so if we decide to, we can move into dual wielding for a bit. And Whirlwind would also benefit from that. But for now, we're just going to go with a shield. He does look pretty cool holding 2 axes, though, I gotta say. That away. Put these random rings and jewels away. Okay. Good on our resources. We'd probably buy some potions. Oh, almost forgot to put a shield on. Okay, so we have this one. There's some all res. All resistances can be good for obvious reasons to block elemental damages. And to strength, damage reduced. I think for now, the Zara's shield is probably our best bet. Okay. Buy some health potions and then go farm Countess. I like to buy lots of potions for melee characters. You usually have to rely on them to keep your health high. Especially early on when you don't have much life leech. Okay, here we go. One of the nice things about single player is the map does not change. This map is not great, though, because we do have to go all the way around to get to the... But we can kill monsters along the way. As I was talking about last session, the tower usually has lots of boss monsters we can fight for a good experience and loot. Gonna skip most of the riffraff monsters. I always like to check out these shields. 3 sockets plus 5. All resistances. That's a pretty cool paladin shield. I hang on to that. And that's nothing. Oh, rare armor. Oh, we got a boss pack of archers. Get rid of those as soon as I can. Cool. Alright, check out this wolf head here in a second. Ooh, small charm. Always good to check those out too. Might as well pick up this scroll. Rare boots. Alright, I can drop that. Let's check out this arm. Some poison damage. Hey, it's a little extra damage. Whole bunch of shamans in this area. Look at that packet. Hard. It's crazy. Let her clean those up while I check out this hut. Amulet. Cool. Well, all kinds of rares. Pick up the rejuvenation potion. Light healing potions in the beginning of the game, in the first act, is usually good to pick up. You can't buy them in shops yet, and they provide substantially more healing, especially good on a character like this that has such a large health pool. Drop on cap. No plus skill. Poison damage can be fun, watching the monsters run away and die. Ooh, ghostly archers. They take less physical damage and they slow you down. Yeah, being in packs in general can be kind of scary. Usually it's good to check out all these caskets, chests. Sometimes there's corpses that you can loot. You never know when one's going to drop a rune or something useful. In this game, finding good items is all about volume for the most part, with a few exceptions. Killing lots of things, opening lots of loot items. Eventually, you're bound to find something. It's all RNG based. That is, random number generator. Basically, a random chance to find a given item. Barrels, another thing. Now, they can explode when you kick them. So make sure that you don't have too low a health. That can kill you. Similarly, some monsters will be fire enchanted, boss monsters, and when they die, they will explode, and that damage can be very powerful. Unique. Ooh. What have we here? Stout nail. Not a bad early game weapon. Unfortunately, we are going axes, not maces. This is considered a mace class weapon. But we'll hang on to it anyway. As a nice little trophy. I tend to be a bit of a hoarder when it comes to unique and set items.
I am overburdened.
Okay, probably about time to go offload our loot.
Hello.
Greetings.
Let's see. So the Act 2 mercenaries can use spears and polearm type weapons. But this is not great compared to that Bardique or Bardiche, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, that we found earlier, the ethereal one. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this. That is not as good as the axe we currently have, actually. An ethereal pair of boots that don't have as much res as we have. Ours. Got the strength and the dexterity. Same thing as the boots we found earlier. It also has fire res, which is more important than cold and poison. Very similar gloves otherwise. Pop those on. Sell those. 1 to 2 fire damage. Any little bits of damage early on can be fine. Hey, there we go. So magic damage reduced by 1. Pretty simple and self-explanatory. But 6% better chance of magic items is really nice. The better chance of getting magic items prefix, or I'm sorry, modifier in this game, it gives you diminishing returns. The more you have, the less impact it has. The first 100 is the most valuable, and the very early numbers can be extremely useful. May not seem like a lot, but it is definitely worth using. I will go ahead and take off the mana after each kill ring since I'm not really using it right now, and also get some extra magic damage reduction. 4 mana. Sometimes I sell them. No, not a big deal. We don't need to keep every single one we find. I can sell that and that. That's nothing special. I'll hang on to these charms, like I said before. They take up inventory space only, and there's not really a downside. I think my armor's better. Wow, look at that book. If you're playing a summoner, that is one heck of a starting shield. We'll hang on to that too. We got finding all kinds of cool loot. Love it. Alright, just buy a potion, put our stuff away, and continue on. Gem collection's coming along nicely. No runes yet, but that's, well, I guess we do have some runes. I almost forgot we could store these in the materials section. We'll go ahead and do that. And for those of you who may not have watched, the reason this tab looks a little funny is I think because of the storage increase mods I have, making the screen misalign. But it still functions, thankfully. And you can still see the outline where the items go, and you can still interact. So we're good. Okay. Back we go. Love that red shield, really cool. Okay. Your socketed armor. I think the one we have is better. And we'll find more two-socketed armors later if we need more. There's a nice little trick in Act 2 to get some really good ones, actually. Jawbone cap, Barbarian specific shield or helmet. And as I said before, whenever you're farming the Countess, pop into these rooms for some free gold. In the original Diablo 2, you had to pick up each item or each pile of gold individually. But with D2 Resurrected, there's now an option in the menu to pick up gold automatically when you walk over it, and that makes, oh my goodness, that is the third of this item we have found. Wolf head. Anyway, as I was saying, looting the Countess gold has never been easier. So it's usually worth just a quick run. Oh, we got to be careful here. Archers are scary. Level up. Excellent. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I like to clear out the monsters in the antechambers if I can, so that there's less threat when we are fighting the Countess herself. There's that strange Countess behavior. Check out this axe. All right, we get to fight the Countess one-on-one. 3 hits. Okay, so that's all runes we needed. When we get back to town, we can take stock. Now, when you're farming the Countess, you're going to want to go in here, kill her over and over. So, what we do is we just save and exit the game and pop back into a new game. She will respawn, her cat tower will respawn, and we can do it again. All right, I'm just going to check out some settings really quick. Okay. All right, if any of you were hearing an echo before, that should be fixed. Okay, and the volume issues should be a little bit better. All right, back to the game.
Good day.
Check out our items, head back in.
Good day.
to the fray. One ray skeleton. Nothing special. That is not an awful weapon. The lifesteal could be nice. But especially early on, 5% of our small amounts of damage is negligible. And I like being able to have a shield with this weapon. Go ahead and sell that. That other pole arm we found earlier is probably better. Sell that. Lightning resistance is useful. And especially early on, there's not a lot of monsters that do magic damage. Extra strength is not awful either. I think I'll go ahead and wear this. I'll hang on to this armor, of course, but yeah, sure enough, this one has a higher defense than the other one. That is funny. We'll go ahead and wear that. We don't need 3 of them. We'll never need 3 of them. A little bit of resistances, but I like the Hasaru's shield. Sell that off. +2 to Raven is not awful, but I'm not a huge druid player. And I would prefer something that gives plus to the wolf summons rather than the ravens. Maybe one day we will do a druid playthrough. Is length reduced? Okay. All right, let's take stock of the runes we have so far, and we can adjust our list. So we've got a Ral rune. That's 1 less of those we need. We have 2 towels. We're down to 3 on those. Eth rune. 1 more. And we have the L runes. Interestingly, L is the lowest rune in the game. And because the main way to farm runes early on is the Countess, and her rune drop table usually sits around the Tal and Ral runes most commonly. L runes are ironically kind of rare. Not excessively rare, but you can go several runs without seeing one. So the fact that we found 2 so far is pretty awesome. Okay, so we're making pretty good progress. Shouldn't take too long to farm up what we need still. That little ratchet sound you hear, and I open chests and sometimes, is the trap trigger sound. It'll be a few seconds afterward, something will happen. You'll have a firebolt shoot at you, a lightning ring might come out, the chest might just catch on fire, various different things, and they can hurt. I'll be careful. Ethereal, but only one socket. That's a shame. Okay, we are level 14. Our next tier opens up at 18. Actually, we're going to want to point in find items. So we'll go ahead and throw a point in find potions so we can get that next level. For double looting purposes. And I'll add this little house to our route. Good to have a pattern to follow when you're doing magic finding. It makes it go faster. Oh, this house doesn't have any items, so... Or, I'm sorry, lootables, chests. So, probably not worth checking out. Well, definitely not worth checking out, considering there's nothing in it. Moving along. Darfin did a video where he tried to one-shot every enemy in the game. I haven't watched the Nightmare version, but he got all the way through normal, one-shotting every enemy, including the bosses. Might try that sometime. Eve's an assassin. I don't know if it's possible on other characters, but it might be fun to try at least. Maybe with a paladin with his auras, or really any character with poison stacking. You can get up to some pretty absurd poison numbers with the right items. In fact, some of the runes we're farming are for poison stacking. Boss pack of archers, always gotta be careful. I say it every time, don't I? Okay. Okay, let's check out this targ. Can't remember. I think the other one was +5, so place it with that. For the possible or probable eventual paladin playthrough. Another targ. Only one socket, though. One socket is on white items, mostly useless. Especially when you can probably find something with more sockets. The same item type. Oodles and oodles of loodles. Plus 3 to werewolf is cool. But only one socket. Probably not worth keeping. Well, might be worth selling though. There's gold in them thar rooms. Check out that axe.
I can't carry it.
L again. 2 L rooms, in fact. Wow. That is crazy. All kinds of L rooms. Could be useful later on. They are used for several recipes in the item we're going to get in Act 2, and also in several rune words. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and sell off, come back to get some of this loot.
Hello.
The Order welcomes you.
1,200, not too bad. Need that. Another little bit of damage charm, always nice. Those that start adding up. 33 extra gold, a little bit of strength, attack rating, and poison resistance. Not too bad. 4% less extra gold is not that much, so I'll go ahead and use that. We've got a few little charms adding damage. Like my axe better, and it is just straight up better. Alright, that gives us the last Eth rune we need. Just need 3 rows, 3 towels, and an Ith. As you can see, farming Countess usually doesn't take too long. It can, though. You can have streaks where you find the same runes over and over, just dodging the ones you actually need. Oh, let's not speak too soon. +5, only 8 defense. That's better defense and more resistance. Nice little early game paladin shield. So sockets can take either gems or runes. An early on shield like that, you could throw a few diamonds in there to give some more resistances. If you need a specific resistance, emeralds, rubies, topazes, and sapphires I'll give specific resistances. So those can be popped in there if you really need a certain resistance. For shields, of course. And as you can see, different types of items will get different bonuses depending which gem you put in there. Bumping into my mouse. Okay. We'll grab the little few pieces of loot I wanted to grab, and then start a new game for another farming session. At this rate, we'll be able to do a few more tasks.
Stay a while and listen.
Yes?
Let's take a look. That's nothing. That is a lot of plus skills for sure. It's not awful, but there's better skills for it to have. I guess if you're an early on bone necromancer, teeth can be nice. Why not? We have space. Let's hang on to it for now. Only +1 to goat man. Can get rid of that. Go ahead and throw the other character type items into shared stash tab so they don't take up space here. All right, back at it. Put a few more points into vitality. 145 life. Okay, hang on to that for now. Compare it to the bow we have in the stash. Sometimes it's fun to poison an enemy and just watch them drop in front of you. Doing great damage, though. Yep, we're doing really good here. Mercenaries mostly one-shotting stuff too. Mostly. Always good to check out daggers. +2 to demonic mastery. Probably sell for quite a bit. As you can see, several boss packs on the way to the counter sheet a lot of the time. They're good for experience. Okay. Pack. Sin killer. Does she kill sin? Or does she kill sinfully? A bone cap. Shoot axe mastery. I've gotten so many caps with that. It is ethereal though, and that lowers its price along with being a barbarian only item. And we get the fire resist and faster hit recovery as well. Oh, I'll go ahead and drop this. Another set item. Cool. And some
I am
rare boots. Oops. Okay, let's check out these boots. A little bit less fire res, but you get some poison res and faster hit recovery. We'll go ahead and use those. Drop those. Check out this Targ. 7. Heal up. It's Ral. Check out this wolf head. Yeah, that's not going to sell for much because it's a very all. Let's read Raven notable. The scimitar. And let's see where we're at. That's a Ral and an Ith. We're getting there.
Greetings.
Good day.
See what we got. +1 amplified damage. Y'all hated knockback. Don't want that. Caster cast rate rings, so usually good to have some of those around for casters. Like that. Look at all those skills. So here's the first item that is selling for 5,000 gold. There is a cap to the amount of gold merchants can offer for items in normal. It starts at 5,000 in Act 1, goes up by 5,000 each difficulty. Sorry, each act. 5, then 10, then 15, then 20, then 25,000 in Act 5. Once you get to Nightmare, the entirety of the difficulty, everything's cap is 30,000. Then once you get into Hell difficulty, the cap goes up to 35,000. That is the max amount you can ever get for any item you sell to a vendor. I could sell this now, or since I don't really need the gold right now, I could throw it in my stash, wait till I get to Act 2 and see if it how much more it sells for. By being 5,000 is a good indication that it probably sells for more than that in later acts. And that's understandable considering all the skills it has on it. Infernal Cap. +10 to all resistances. 20% damage taken goes to mana, which is a misleading stat. When it says 20% damage taken goes to mana, that doesn't mean you take 20% less damage. It means if you take, say, 100 damage, You'll still take full 100 damage, but you will get 20 mana of into your mana pool. And be good for casters if you are in the middle of the fray, but for obvious reasons, casters tend not to want to be in the middle of the fray. That being said, it's a set item. I'll hang on to it. 1 to 2 fire damage on a large storm. Nothing wrong with that for now. Don't need that. Don't need that. Or that. Or that. Or that. Or that. +4 max. +3 dex. 20 poison. That's actually not awful. Might be worth throwing in something. Okay. That away. I'll keep this in here for now. One to 5. 3 to 10. Okay, we probably don't need this bow then. It's in here for money purposes later. I noticed something about this map that's interesting that I didn't notice before. Bone cap. Check this out. You're on the rock. You like rock. Oh, skills. So there's this little passageway next to the river. Might be a little bit faster than going up and around. Not that we're playing very fast, but it also helps us potentially avoid more monsters. So it takes us less time to get to the tower. Oop, almost missed that chest. For those of you with a keen eye might notice, we aren't having stamina issues anymore. We still lose stamina, but at a much, much slower rate. And that's because we are putting a lot of points into vitality. Stamina is directly tied to vitality, and our base goes up every time we put a point in. So we probably don't even need to have stamina potions on us anymore, but now we know. Notably on superior items, there's a few different stats they can roll. For armors, it can be enhanced defense or increased durability. The rolls are different for each of those, but the max enhanced defense roll is 15%. Not that that's super notable on an early game armor like this, but it is pretty cool to see a roll like that. The higher we level up, the less we really need to worry about the general populous monsters, both for XP and for danger. Boss packs and champion packs like this are usually worth fighting for their increased experience. Another Jawbone cap. We're seeing all kinds of them. Only +1 to Mace Mastery, probably not worth keeping. Grand Charm. Cool. Really good Grand Charms don't start dropping until about halfway through the game. Act 3, Nightmare difficulty. But some of the early ones can be good. That was a fire enchanted monster. As you can see, she exploded on death. The early ones are not super scary, but later on they can get very deadly. Level up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that point into find item. So, find item is a chance to find extra items on corpses. And you'll notice that if I'm not near a corpse, you can't use it.
Can't use this yet.
And it highlights when I get near a monster's body. So there you go, 14% chance I got something. And the higher level of the skill, the more chance you get. And it basically takes that monster and what it normally would drop and rolls that again. First it checks, do you pass the chance check? Then it rolls to see what it drops. Like it would when you first killed the monster. Another rare jewel. A lot of rares this run so far. Green glow, that tells me there is another champion back there. Champions and other such monsters usually have some sort of glow. Got this dagger. It's one summon goat man. I mean, it only takes up 2 slots, probably sell for a little bit. Wow, so this tile with the torches and the pillars always has a chest there, and it has a chance to be a super chest. That large amount of items that dropped out is what super chests essentially always do. So when the chest is generated on the map, it has a chance to be a super chest. If it is, it'll pop with varying degrees of large amounts of loot. dagger.
I can't carry anymore.
Alright, let's go ahead and go back to town. Filter out all the junk loot.
Stay a while and listen.
One of the reasons I usually collect items when I know I'm not going to use them is to collect extra gold, which in this game is mainly used for repairing your items, which usually doesn't cost much, though there are some exceptions, and for gambling, which can get you some pretty sweet items. It's not awful, but I think the one in my stash is still better. We'll see if this is any better than the one my mercenary currently has. Due to amplified damage. Terrible. Well, it is all kinds of little stats to it, but it is ethereal. So, and I don't really need it. 3 to demonic mastery. Now that's worth keeping. Pretty cool. Don't need that. Another one to do fire damage. Getting all kinds of little damage charms. I imagine our damage is pretty good now. I mean, it is evidenced by the fact that we are one-shotting most enemies. Gems can be put away. Altogether, not terrible little stats.
I'll put that to good use.
Hers just does better damage. Okay.
Greetings.
Weak poison damage. Actually, let's check our damage stat. Run it 32 to 68. That is really good for Act 1. Act 1 normal, that is. For those firewalls, that's something she can do. 3 Eld runes. Second lowest rune. And it's used a few different recipes. I'm sorry, rune words. Not anything we needed, though. Okay. For these next few runs, I'm going to mostly just run past monsters unless I see a champion or boss pack. I'm going to try to speed the farming process up so we have a chance at some other tasks tonight.
Good to see you.
The Order welcomes you.
That. That's pretty cool little early throwing knife. But we don't need it. Wow, look at that dagger. That is something else. I mean, demon specializing warlock would love this. Goatmen are considered demons for the purposes of demonic mastery, so that is just all kinds of stats for a summoning warlock. Definitely want to hang on to that. We got some great starting items for a warlock that's summoning centric, and also for a necromancer that's summoning centric. So likely going to try to go for something like that. Pair that with something like this, and you're in the money. Or even this, 3 demonic mastery, level 3, level 3. Huh. So the other one's just better. It has a little bit less damage, but it's magic instead of fire. And it gets that Goatman bonus. So I guess I don't need this other one. Go ahead and sell that. Put these runes away.
Yes?
Once more into the breach. Okay, we're going to make a beeline for the tower. Only stopping for boss or champion packs. Or if we can't get past. Make the most efficient use of our time. Black Wolf. If we can also get to level 17, that'd be great. For a very specific reason I will share when we get there. I'll go ahead and include this hut in the run because it does have a chance of being a super chest. Don't try this at home, kids. I do not recommend running into the middle of a pack of archers like that. Even in Act 1 normal, it can be dangerous. And it gets exceedingly more dangerous later on. Alright, we did run out of stamina, so it's good we have those potions on us. Stamina potions will make your stamina infinite for a short amount of time while filling it. Didn't always work that way. When the game first came out, stamina potions would simply refill your stamina. Nothing more. Which is not terrible, but this is much better. Dagger. Got to get back into the habit of checking daggers out. With the Reign of the Warlock expansion that just came out, daggers can now have plus to skills for the Warlock. Before that type of item did not have built-in skills like that. So it was only worth checking out if it was rare or unique or something like that. Even for off-class characters, it can be good to check because they can sell for a lot. Or if you're like me and you're the loot gremlin and you like to try different builds, you can save them for their characters. For obvious reasons, probably best not to stand in the wall of fire.
I am overburdened.
Fire burns. In case you didn't know. 2 Nest rooms and a towel room with a bunch of throwing axes too. I am completely out of space. That. We put the rejuvenation potion down here. Got the towel room, the topaz. And I probably just don't need to grab those throwing axes. There would only be for money anyway. Cool. Alright, so that's one more towel rune.
Good day.
Good day.
+2 poison creeper. Poison creeper early on can be very powerful, actually. But I don't need it. It's got some stats, but I still like my single-handed axe better. Mine's better. No stat or skill points. 5,000. Another one that sells for max. You know, and they head and hang on to those so I can show you the limits in action. Oh, I forgot to use find item on monsters. I will remember that from now going forward. I do believe that different chests with a chance of being super chests have different chances of being super chests. The ones in those little houses, relatively low chance. The ones on those tiles I showed you in the tower, however, have a much higher chance. Unique cat, cool. And this is why I like having slightly improved drops. You just get some really cool moments. Finding cool stuff is fun. Check that out in a bit. Very much enjoying this. Thank you. Well, thank you, chat. I appreciate that. I'm also very much enjoying this. I do love gaming. My passion for years now. Well, I say years now. It's been my passion since I was a small child. I always say since I was big enough to reach the mouse, I've been playing games. My dad was really into video games when I was younger. Computer games mostly. And he shared that love with me and my brothers. The first games we played were a game like Tank Wars, which if you've ever played a game called Worms, is very similar, but much more simplistic graphics. 2D flat plane with your tanks on the same little battlefield on the same screen, and you would try to shoot projectiles and take out your enemies. The terrain underneath the tanks was destructible, and tanks would take fall damage if they fell. And it was a lot of fun, even with the simplistic graphics. In fact, my love of Diablo started in those early years as well. My dad bought the game when it came out, and we all fell in love with it. Just such a good game, so much fun. Way ahead of its time. Introduced concepts that are still used in action RPGs today. And then Diablo 2 came out, and we didn't think it would be possible, but it was better than the first, in my opinion anyway. I am not as much of a fan as Diablo 3 and 4, But that's okay. Not every game is for every player. And thankfully, Diablo 2 was so popular that Blizzard re-released it in this version we see before us. So I have the pleasure of playing my literal favorite video game of all time and sharing it with you viewers. It is my hope to build a strong community of game enjoyers. My mission in life is to share my love of gaming with others and bring joy to people through that game. L Ralph. It is unbelievable how many algorithms we've found so far. My other passion in gaming is Magic the Gathering. I've mentioned it before. And if I could do anything, and it didn't have to be profitable or anything like that, I would open a game shop. Have tables available for people to come and play with their friends. Sell products for a good price. Be around my people, as they say. All right, we will take stock of our runes. Update our list. Okay, so we only need one more Ral rune. Let's go ahead and update our numbers. We need 2 more Tal runes. We have the Eth runes. Oh, we are very close. Oh, wait, we also got the Ith runes. I didn't even notice. Cool. 1 or 2 more runs, hopefully. We will have met our goal.
Hello.
Don't know if you can hear that, but that is one of our cats, Hazel. She's saying hi. Once I'm able to pick up a webcam, we'll introduce them.
The Order welcomes you.
I'm pretty sure she just wants the bugs. Few moths flying around in here. End to life. Not awful. 15 poison damage. Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, let's organize our charms. We're starting to get quite a few. And as I stated before, because I'm using a mod to increase my stash size, I'm going to restrict myself to only using charms in the amount that would fill up a regular stash. Everyone say hi to the kitty. He mustn't be known to the world. He wants to be a YouTube star along with me. YouTube star, what does that even mean? Okay, buy a few more potions. We'll need a ton. Not really much danger right now. Oops. I pressed the organize button. Okay. The normal stash size is not the stash size, the inventory size is 4 tall by 10 wide. One of the things that a lot of players have asked for is a dedicated stash inventory that is the only place where not stash inventory, charm inventory rather. Dedicated charm inventory, and charms would only function within that inventory, so that we could still have our full inventory for looting. Hasn't happened yet, but it may still one day. I would think that would be really cool for quality of life. Of course, I would say so, considering I'm such a loot gremlin, but that's okay. So, Biggin's Bonnet. Unique. And a pretty good early game unique at that. A little bit of attack rating, that's chance to hit. It's not a direct translation, number to chance. The attack rating, your level, the monster's level, and the monster's defense all factor into whether you hit a monster. The most important factor is difference in level. If you are higher level, you have a higher chance to hit a monster. If the monster's higher level, you have a much lower chance to hit. But you also need a whole bunch of attack rating, especially later in the game. We have this +1 to axe mastery one for now. I guess we can see how the stats are affected. 46 to 82. I actually do more damage with this. Oh, because of the enhanced damage. Attack rating 328. 299. Yeah, this hat is better. And look at this stylish. Let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look at this stylish hat. Oh yeah, look at that. Great stuff. Okay, we'll use that. If nothing else but for the style. Probably don't need to hang on to this hat. Although I'm going to, because it was a nice moment to find this after dedicating myself to axe mastery. Once more into the breach. All right. This run, we're going to find 2 tiles in a row and be done with our rune grind. All right, we are almost level 16. Expert monster dodging skills. When you play this game as long as I have, you start to see the patterns and anticipate them. Hazel, you sound so pathetic. One, hit a boss monster. That Nova that it cast when it died basically slowed me down. But later in the game, that is potentially very deadly characters. Especially dangerous if you're hardcore, in which if you die, the character is permanently dead. There are a handful of different monsters and effects on monsters that are I'd say 95% of cause of death of hardcore characters. That's one of them. Fire enchantment, where they explode. Another one of them. There's a monster called a Stygian doll. And no matter what kind of monster they are, whether they're just regular monsters or they're boss monsters, Stygian dolls always explode on death and do a lot of damage, no matter where in the game you are, what difficulty. That's another common cause of death. And another cause is burning souls and their variants. They are spectral enemies that float around very quickly and shoot lightning bolts. And if you are not properly prepared and have high resistances, they can end you very quickly. For the latter, for those ones, you can actually mitigate their danger quite a bit with the right gear. Combination of maximum lightning resistance. In this game, your resistances maximum are 75%, so you take 75% less damage from sources of the type. Combine that with a stat called Absorb, Lightning Absorb, which comes in 3 varieties. It might be 4. I'm not sure if there's Magic Absorb. I can't remember. But there's Cold, Fire, and Lightning Absorb for sure. Get some Lightning Absorb and max out your lightning resistance, and you can bring their damage to nearly 0. And if you have enough Absorb and lightning resistance, you can even potentially heal off of their attacks. Lightning Absorb works in the way of when you take lightning damage, you heal for a certain amount. So if you have a high enough resistance and the damage number they do is less than a certain amount, you can actually heal off of it. Same is said for Fire Absorb. There is a pack of enemies in the game that does large amounts of fire damage very quickly. We will be seeing them in this playthrough. I mean, we'll be seeing all the monsters in this playthrough for the most part. And you can do the same thing with those too. And they are definitely worth building around to absorb their damage because their drops are desirable. They have good chances of dropping good rares, unique set items, and even high runes. Most sought after items in the game. Items with absurdly high rarity. For an example, Zod rune, which is the highest rune. In my 25 plus years of playing this game, I've never even seen one. Most players who've been playing that long have never seen one.
Your blood will boil.
LL Nep. Beautiful hat.
Stay a while and listen.
Yes? Good to see you.
Okay, couple more charms. Nothing special, but again, we have room. Why not? Oops. Oh, I keep doing that. Okay. Oh, didn't take a portal. We took the save and exit portal, not a town portal. Okay. Strict beeline. Okay, little boss packs. Sweet, another level up. Okay, let's take a quick recap, or a quick look at the skills we want at level 18. We are approaching level 18, so we want Battle Cry for sure. Really good against bosses. We want Stone Skin for that little bit of extra defense. We want Concentrate, and we want Leap Attack. So we won't be able to get all four. Oh, I keep using... I said I wouldn't forget it, and I forgot it. Oops, sorry about that. That is my alarm. Turn that off. Okay. I said we wouldn't forget, and we forgot. That's okay. We'll do it from now on. Let's go ahead and just...
I need mana. I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet. I can't use this yet.
They'll say that if there are no bodies able to be checked. Most of the time because you already checked them. Free to summon to Molten Boulder or one to Spirit Wolf. That's actually a pretty good helmet. Molten Boulder is a good early game skill for druids. I might actually hang on to that. If I play a druid, summoner or elemental fire is usually fun compared to their builds. Although summoner is sadly underpowered compared to the other summoner classes. Refilling shrine. I always like to check shrines for the possibility of a gem shrine. I'll go over that if we find one. And as I said before, oh, there's another boss pack. Mold Thorn. Gotta grab them all. Gems and Pokemon. Grab them all. Gotta catch them all. You should not grab your Pokemon. I think that's probably against the law. But I'm not a Pokemon World law expert. I am a fan of Pokemon. The game specifically. I am sure we will end up playing Pokemon on stream at some point. I've actually completed several Pokédexes.
I can't carry anymore.
Very fast attack speed, but only one socket. Bummer. I'll need to pick that up. Another Jawbone Cap.
I am overburdened.
And a Ground Charm. Oh, Throwing Mastery. Okay. Don't need that. No skills on that, so that's not worth that keeping. Just of keeping going, I'll just drop them. Not really worth much gold anyway, honestly. The boss pack. Focusing on boss packs. Oh my goodness, look at that. So we found 3 Hisar's bucklers and 2 now Claw shields. That is just crazy. It's fun.
I can't carry anymore.
Finds a good loot in here. Okay, well, let's take a quick town break. Sell off some junk.
Good day.
Good day.
Nothing. Nothing. Hang on to that for now. Sell that. Sell that. Another Claw's shield. 8 mana. That'll be one of the first. Okay. So we want this to check out this wolf head, ruination potion, amulet, and this pole arm. Okay, what do we have? Everyone say hi to Mira. She's our upside down cat. She loves being held upside down. And my wife is holding her that way right now, and she looks quite happy. She's different from the other cats, that's for sure. Okay, one of the lycanthropy's not going to sell for much. This is really not anything to write home about, and while rare jewels can be used in crafting, rare amulets and rings cannot. So I will go ahead and drop that. Just nope, don't need it. Okay. Ral Tal Tal. That is not Ral Tal Tal. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to move on. And possibly come back later, or just hope to find the runes along the way. So,
Stay a while and listen.
next quest is to find the Heraldric Malice in the barracks. So, let's shoot for that, and maybe even killing the final boss of this act, this run. Let's go ahead and adjust our goals. Heraldric Malice. One boss. Put these away. All right. Still going to avoid regular packs for now since we are pretty overleveled. Don't really need the experience. Now, the Mo Highlands we are in is the map that leads to the cathedral. Good boss packs here. That's nice. Great experience. Okay, as I was saying, this map leads to the cathedral. And the cathedral will always be the same as far as its entrance. no matter where you enter the Tomo Highlands from, monastery gate, I should say the monastery, not the cathedral. The entrance to the cathedral lies beneath the monastery. The face of the monastery will always be oriented this way, bottom right of the screen to the top left of the screen. They'll just go up and right from wherever you enter the Tomo Highlands, and you will find the gates. Monastery enters into the outer cloister. Monastery gates, that is. This part of the map will have three different types, tiles, I should say. This one is the cross in the middle orientation. You can see on the map, and in the game, you can see the cross shape on the ground. Lantern bed. Based on what this tile looks like, tells you where the entrance to the next area is. We have this waypoint, but this cross tells me that the barracks, which is the next area, is this way. Go through here. Entrance to the barracks usually has a lot of monsters, so I don't like to leave monsters out here and add to it. And here you have it. Entrance to the barracks. There are two other maps. We might get them in Nightmare or Hell, and I will show you then which direction. There's three directions they can be. Upper right like this one, or left, or bottom right. Alright, as usual, we go for the shamans first, so that they don't revive their bronies.